Hey fam! No, I don't like that. That's not good. Hello, my lovely people. Better. How's it going today? Welcome to another Tuesday Drink and Sew Things with me, your host, Drinking and Sewing Things. Today is very exciting because we are making a two-tone mask. Woo! How exciting is that, right? I mean, I did a face mask video like October, and here it is in May. How to do another one. This is a two-tone mask. It's going to be super fun and look super cute, and I don't really have a lot else to say about it, so let's just get down to business. To defeat the Huns. If you made it today, hi, thank you for coming. I appreciate you. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel where this is what I do. I drink and I sew things. So today I am drinking a strawberry Pina Colada. Oh my gosh. If I close my eyes, I cannot pretend that I am somewhere on a beach. Do you hear that? That's the sound of the ocean and no one needing me for anything. In case you want to make it, I'll put the recipe down in the description. It's really good. So let's just hop right into it. Let's start with the supplies you need. First, make sure you have your beverage. Second, you're going to need some fabric. You're going to need two different colors since we're doing a two-tone mask. If you're not interested in doing a two-tone mask, you just want to do a regular one, I will link right over here somewhere, and also in the description, my video for just a regular no fog face mask. You're going to want a rotary cutter or fabric scissors, but a rotary cutter is honestly so much easier. You're going to want a measuring implement of some kind, ruler, whatever. You are going to want a pin. You're going to need pins, but I also like to use these sewing clips. Oh, they're magic. I'll link them in the description too because you should totally have them. You're also going to need some elastic. In my previous video, we used 1/4 inch elastic, but I have since discovered that this 1/8 of an inch elastic, oh my gosh, it's way better because instead of sewing the ends, you just tie them and it's thinner, so it feels nicer on your ears, and it's also really soft. So get yourself some 1/8 of an inch elastic or 1/4 inch if you'd rather go that way. Oh, and you're also gonna need an iron. Okay, peeps, let's take a drink and then talk measurements. Okay, you're gonna need three different pieces of fabric. So 2 of the big one and then just 1 of the small one. For the big one, for a standard size mask, it's 10 inches long by 7 inches tall. If you are maybe have a larger face, you're making this for someone who needs a large size, do 10.5 inches by 7.5 inches. For a kid's mask, I would take it down just a little bit and go 6.5 inches tall by 9.5 inches long. Now, don't quote me on the kids' measurements because my baby is not old enough to wear a mask, so I haven't had to make any kids' masks. So I'm giving you this measurement, which is just a size down from the regular size mask. Yeah. So if that does or doesn't work, maybe somebody put it in the comments and I can pin that or something so that people can see what the kids measurement is. Okay, thanks. Now for the second piece of fabric that's going to end up going in the middle, so it ends up being a 3-layer in the front where your mouth is. Excellent. You're going to cut it the same length, so I'm doing a 10 inch by 7 inch, so I cut mine 10 inches, cut yours the same length, and for the height, you're going to take whatever your height is here, and you're going to subtract 3 inches. So I'm doing a standard size mask, and I cut a second piece 10 inches by 4 inches. I'll put all of these down in the description, so you can just look there. Step 1 is we're going to take our 2 pieces of our large fabric and we're going to place them right sides together. Make sure you line up those edges. The next step is we are going to actually fold it in half. Make sure that the corners are meeting. Then take your measuring implement Start at the top corner and we're gonna measure 2 inches down and we're gonna make a mark with a pen. Then we're going to measure 2 inches this way, make a mark with a pen. Now connect your 2 marks and either draw a line or just cut it. Now that we've done that, we're gonna do it down here. Okay, now let's go ahead and unfold it. Ta-da! Now before we pin and clip around the edges so that we can start to sew it, go get your small piece of fabric. We're gonna flip it over. Take your measuring implement and your pen, and starting from one corner, we're gonna measure 1 inch down and I'm gonna make a mark there. The other corner, I'm gonna measure 1 inch up and make a mark there. So I have 1 inch down from each corner there, and then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side here. Now I'm going to take my pressing mat. I just bought this on Amazon for like $10 because you don't want to press directly on a cutting mat. Ask me how I know. Okay, let's take a drink real quick while we wait for our iron. We made these marks so we can be more exact. So what we're gonna do is take the corner here and we're gonna fold it down so that it meets that line. So we're folding it down 1/2 inch and then you are going to press it. So pressing it keeps it in place, and most fabrics will hold the press pretty well. Even if it's kind of coming up a little bit, that's okay. We are going to sew it later. So I'm gonna just turn this and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Oh yeah, you should totally put that in, Nikita. Now I'm going to flip it over and then I'm going to press it flat from the front as well, just to give it a little extra something something. Now we are going to bring back our outer pieces here. We are going to put it onto our fabric and it's going to be face down. We're actually going to pin it here. I'm only going to put in a couple pins along here. We will be pinning around the outside edges, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't move. Then take your second fabric. We're going to put it down on top of the first one so that they are right sides touching. We should be looking at the wrong side. And before we keep going, I'm going to take a drink. If you like Pina Coladas and sewing some face masks. All right, I'm using fabric clips because this is so much easier. But we're just gonna clip around the edges. While I'm going, I'm making sure that my corners are lining up. And on the bottom, I'm gonna leave a nice big gap here. Probably go a little closer than that. I'm gonna leave probably a 3 or 4 inch gap there because that is where we are not gonna sew so that we can turn it right side out. I just realized that was a little blurry, so I'm real sorry about that. But now we're gonna take it to our sewing machine. Make sure you keep your clips by your sewing machine so you have some place to put them when you take them off. But also make sure you have your drink by your sewing machine. That's like extra super important. Remember that gap that I left on the bottom? I'm gonna start on this second one. Right around there. We're going to be using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you will not be able to see this thread, so it does not matter which color thread or bobbin you use. So let's go ahead and start sewing. What a fun noise. Back stitch, and then sew to this first corner. Now I can kind of eyeball when I'm about a 1/4 inch away from the corner here. I'm going to put my needle down. I'm going to lift my presser foot. So now my needle should be right next to my little corner here. I'm going to pivot it, pivot it, yeah. So now I'm going to be sewing down this side, lined up about a 1/4 inch from the edge. And then we're just going to sew all the way around. Now when I get to this place where my clip was, about 3 to 4 inches away from this place I started, I'm going to back stitch, and then I'm going to forward stitch and clip your threads. And then to make the corners look nicer when we turn them out, we're going to take our fabric scissors and we're going to cut straight across at the corners. Please be very careful. Do not get too close to the corners. We don't want to have to re-sew. By the way, this got a little bit wet because it touched my glass while I was sewing, which reminds me, make sure you take a drink break. Woo! We are actually going to turn this right side out now. So I like to open it up and then just start pushing the fabric through with your fingers. Be careful because there are pins in it. After I turned my right side out, it looked like this. So what I did was I removed the pins, and then we're just gonna flip it this way. Woo! Okay, and then I'm just using my finger to poke out the corners. You can use a pen if you'd like as well. That will give you these nice little crisp corners. Now that that is turned right side out, we are going to tuck these top edges in here. And if you would like, you may press this so it stays together, or you can pin it. But since it's kind of folding together on its own, I'm actually just going to take it to my sewing machine. Okay, remember this is the bottom edge of the mask. We're going to sew from this corner to this corner. And then on the top edge of the mask, we're going to sew from this corner to this corner. So you're sewing straight seams along the 2 long edges. Back here, and I am going to be using about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm sewing really close to the edge, and that is going to close this gap up. I should note you will be able to see this seam, so make sure you choose a thread color that matches your fabric or that you think coordinates with it. All right, nice work everybody. Let's take it back to our iron. Congratulations, I'm so proud of you. You're doing such a great job. All right, the next step is I'm actually going to quickly press this flat. Now I'm actually going to flip this over, and these 2 corners I'm going to fold down the top so that it goes all the way to those 2 corners. And what I'm doing is now I'm making this flat straight line that is lined up to my second fabric on the front. And let's go ahead and press this so it stays flat. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the front, and this is what it looks like back here. So then we are going to do the same thing. We're going to fold up the bottom now. We're going to take this to our sewing machine, and we're going to do straight stitches from corner to corner, corner to corner, with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, just like we did right here. And again, you will be able to see this, so make sure you're aware of what your thread color is. You guys be excited, we're so close to being done. I'm using this 1/8 of an inch braided elastic, like I said earlier, and you're gonna cut 2 pieces that are each 9 inches long. The great thing about the braided elastic is that you can just tie it, and then you can easily make it shorter if you need to. So we are going to take our mask. We're going to lay the elastic probably about 1/4 inch or so away from the edge. And we're going to fold it about 1/2 inch. And now you can pin this if you'd like, but I find that pinning just gets more in the way than it actually is helpful. So I'm going to slide this under. We're going to sew with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And be aware that the thread won't be visible from the front side of the mask, but the bobbin will. So be aware of your bobbin color. Oh, excellent. Now let's do the exact same thing on the other side. Now that we've got both sides done, we're just going to tie the ends. If you are using 1/4 inch elastic, then you are going to overlap the ends by about 1/2 of an inch or so, and then use a zigzag stitch to sew them together. Then we're just going to turn it until the knot magically disappears. What? Okay, now do the same to the other side. Yeah! Woo! Your mask is basically done, so we should take a celebratory drink. Woo! Cheers! Okay, now one more step. Let's finish it up. Now, real quick, last step. So we're going to take our mask. I'm going from the back, and I'm going to grab the middle of each of these and pull. And then these two will kind of fold and meet together, and we're just going to pull out the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to give it one last press, and this will kind of hold that in place. And now your two-tone mask is done, my friends. Woo! You can't tell, but I'm smiling under here. Okay, well there you have it. There is your two-tone mask. PSA, take the mask off before you take a drink, okay? Well, I hope that you enjoyed sewing with me today. I hope that you enjoyed making your two-tone mask, and I hope to see you back again. So stick around so we can drink along and sew along with me on the next video. Thanks for watching. If you are Pina Colada and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into COVID, if you have a sewing machine,